everybody, my name is Tommy and today we're gonna make 3 stories in the book Flyers 2. It's the book called Flyers 2. We've done lots of mover lessons already, so now let's move to Flyers lesson. It's gonna be interesting. Let me take out the page. There is the page. We're gonna do 3 stories today. 3 stories. Today we're gonna do 3 stories. Let me find it. There. This is the first. So let me change it. There. This is the first story. This is the first picture, the second picture, the third picture, the fourth picture, and the fifth picture. So our characters are is the dog called Rusty. This is Adam, and this is Eve. So these are the 3 characters. In here, there's also gonna be their dad, because their dad is hiding in the snow, so you can't see them. So now, let's begin. One day, Adam and Eve woke up and got out of bed. They got dressed, and then they went out to look out the window. So they went out of their bedrooms to the living room, and then they saw that it's snowing. Then after that, they went out of their house, and then they rolled up some big snowballs. They placed each snowball on top to make a snowman. Suddenly, when they finished the snowman and put an old hat on it, they felt boring. Then they sat in front of their snowman for a while as Rusty was sleeping. Then they went into their house. They had supper with Mom. Then suddenly, Adam noticed there were 2 snowmans. So there were 2 snowmans. So they went out to just destroy or put away the other snowman. And when they finished unburying the snowman, they saw that their dad was in it. So maybe they tricked them. So now let me change to the next page. There. Now let me change it. Oops. There, and there. So, this story's title is A Day at the Circus. A Day at the Circus. One day, Jake walked out from his house. His big sisters were there. So his big sisters that were here were there. So his big sisters were there. They wanted to go to the circus. Jake was smaller, so he didn't have any money. So they got on a bus and then rode on the bus away to the circus. At the circus, if there were children there, it will only cost 5 cents. But if there were adults there, it will cost 10 cents. So because 2 children that is sitting on together will make a tall adult. So that's how you can you can sort them. You can sort them out. That's how you can sort them out. That's how you can sort them out. So if a child is 5 cents, then if there's another child sitting on it, it will be 10 cents. So you don't need to count on your fingers because it will be boring. So then they paid for the man at the circus, and then they went in. At the circus, they went to the cafe. They went to the cafe at the circus. Or maybe behind the circus there's a cafe. There were clowns dancing. Then, as they weren't in the watch, the clowns did things like this. Here, I'll show you what the clowns did. So, the clowns did things like this. They just jumped all around, and then they started coming to the boys and girls table. So that's what they did. So now, then when nobody was in the watch, the clowns jumped and jumped and jumped and walked toward the table. They jumped on the table, surprising the 3 children. And then they looked happily at the clowns. So that's the second story. Now the third story, every time we make a story, the third story is always about a family. The third story is always about a family. So today's family is the Judd family. The Judd family. This is the Judd family. There are Mr. Judd, Mrs. Judd, Jake Judd, and Jesse Judd. Those are the 4 people in the Judd family. So, this is the Judd family. One day, the Judd family decided to go to the lake. Or maybe they go into the field. One day, the Judd family decided to go to a field to have a picnic. They loaded their car with things they needed, and then they set off. At the field, they could see that it doesn't belong to anyone. So, at the field, they set down their blanket and then put their things on. After putting their things on, they played. What did they play? As you know, they played tennis because you can see these two tennis rackets and this tennis ball. Can you see the 2 tennis rackets and the tennis ball? Then they played tennis as their mom was sleeping and their dad was preparing the breakfast. Then bears came by. When they were playing the tennis, no bear dared to come close because they knew that humans were afraid of bears. Then they just when Jake Judd, Jesse Judd, and Mrs. Judd was out of sight, then the bears came closely to get the bananas. Mr. Judd noticed the bears, and then he climbed onto the tree. the bears had to be very quiet because they didn't want to wake Mrs. Judd. So they carefully got the bananas because by one reason they wanted to volunteer. Then when Jesse and Jake came back to the camp, they saw that all the bananas were gone. Then the bears decided it was time to volunteer. And then they got their bananas at their house, which is really a cave, and then they gave back the bananas, or just they volunteered. Jesse and Jake didn't know that the bears had came, but they did know that their bananas were totally gone. So that's the end of our stories today. So I hope you like this video. Make sure to like and subscribe me more at Study English with Tommy. So, see you!